So I'm like, I'm going to finish this book series. It has taken me a year. I took a break in the middle of it, and I was like, I need to go back, which meant I had to restart it, and I was pissy, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's like an abusive relationship, man. Like,
I kind of feel a little bit with this series. Like I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, I need you to be done.
yeah.
We are good to go.
Yay.
I do
Exciting.
well with series for some reason.
It depends on
Yeah.
the series for me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I do actually genuinely like Sarah J. Maas. Like,
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I like her work. It's I had students who were like, "We never read her." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
That happened in the creative.
yeah."
Writing,
That's what
yeah,
my group didn't
they
want
were
to read them, and I'm like, "I'm cool with her." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I read her."
that happened with my pop culture class too. I did psycho pop culture and I did ACOTAR to like try to talk about like power dynamics and different things and like how do people like represent female literature and like even though this is smut, like the things. And yeah, most of my students, especially my male identifying ones, were like,
I'm like, guys, it's fine. Like, it's fine.
I don't know, just that group didn't love it. So granted, it's the first book, and the first book does suck.
I feel like yeah, like the first book, that one really just has to set a lot of stuff up.
It does, and
Yeah.
you gotta read it,
Mhm.
but it's not good.
No, but when you get to book 2, though,
But agreed, 100%.
I think Court of Mist and Fury. I think that was my favorite.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite too. So, you know, I'm on like on what is it? Towers, Two Towers, whatever that title is
yeah,
of Throne of Glass. So I'm like
Mhm.
the second to last book at this point.
I haven't gotten through that one yet. I've read the first book so far.
See, and I didn't love the first book.
I think that's why I kind of got like stalled.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like the second book on is really good.
Okay.
It's very much like ACOTAR. The first book is not good.
And then you just got to push through.
Yep.
Got to do your taxes before you get to the good.
Yeah, literally.
But I did like Fourth Wing though.
I love Fourth
Yeah,
Wing.
like, Fourth Wing was fun.
Fourth Wing is really good.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
those.
if you want a copy, Morgan, I have like the first book at home if you want to read it.
I would be interested.
It's fun.
I has to hear about a lot of the whatever's happening in the romance space pretty consistently because I'm a romance writer. So
Yeah.
anytime something is popular, I'm like thing. But I have not read Fourth Wing. I've been making my way through the Nevessa Allen stuff. I read Lights Out, and I was like, it's not for me. But I understand why she likes him. He's
Yeah.
begrudgingly kind of charming and adorable. So now I'm reading Caught Up, and I'm like, still not for me.
Yeah, I haven't done those either.
I want to know.
But they're on my list because I feel very similar. Like I don't love dark romance, but I want to know. Like also, I'm curious about the psych piece to it.
Mhm.
But then I'm like, oh, do I want to do that? So, but we'll see what happens. But
I know we've got some folks online joining us too, which is exciting.
yeah, we'll get started whenever.
We're good.
All right. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys today?
Good. How are you?
Fabulous.
I'm good. It is the end of the semester. Yeah. So I feel very much the topic today. I have a feeling some of you do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to talk burnout today. There is some interactive things, including if you're in the room, burnout bingo, which is a fun, hopefully fun thing. I did not create these cards. One of my colleagues in CTL, I believe, created these with some assistance from an AI friend. And so I borrowed them from her rather than recreate them myself. We are at that point in the semester.
Oh yeah.
So I know everybody in the room at this point knows who I am at this point because you guys have all attended various sessions or in Emma's case, screw up with me. So, but in case anybody online is new, I'm Dr. Britani Black. I am from Marshall University. I'm an assistant professor of psychology, and I'm also the director of our community-based learning program in the Center for Teaching and Learning. And I am a licensed clinical psychologist, all of which is partially why I've been doing these sessions and kind of been wrapping up today with the idea of burnout and what that looks like in particular, because as some folks have already stated, we are in the last weeks of the semester and burnout is real and people are busy. And so I figured it might be appropriate today to kind of chat a little bit about how people are feeling and what burnout looks like. So who feels more tired than they used to?
Yeah.
Goes without saying. Valid. We often start to feel more tired than we used to. It's a big sigh from Emma. Thank you.
We gotta go to New Jersey again next week. It's fine.
100%. We feel more tired than we did. It's the end of the semester. It's family. It's all the things. It's taking care of grading while also taking care of all these students who now suddenly are like, hey, can I have points? Oh, no friends. No, you can't. So we get tired. Work can make us tired for various reasons. And I had an interesting moment a couple weeks ago where I noticed this in particular. So I got a lovely alert on my phone a couple of days ago, sometime last week, where it was like new heart alert. And I was like, okay, what did I do? And it was like, you had like a decrease in your heart rate by 10 points last week. I was at Disney. I wasn't at work. I will clarify, I was not there for a vacation, though I did go to Disney. I was there for a conference presentation. I was presenting on a panel. And as a result of that, I had gone out a little bit early and I did Disneyland. While I was at Disneyland, my heart rate dropped 10 points to the point where my watch and my phone were like, what'd you do? Do it more. Can't do that again for a while. It's the idea that work has impact, right? I told one of my students that, my clinic GA, I was like, well, my heart rate decreased 10 points. And she's like, how'd that happen? You had family stuff going on that week too. As Emma knows, my dad had 2 open heart surgeries while I was in California. Oh my God. And my heart rate still decreased somehow. I don't know how. What is it?
Good for you.
I know. I don't know how that happened. I will also clarify, it was scheduled. He is doing well. He told me to go to California early, so he knew I was safe in there, which is why I did Disney while he was dealing with that. So my heart rate decreased. My student looked at me and said, well, I guess you're very much burnt out at work. I was like, well, maybe. We will see. But my heart rate decreased when I wasn't at work. And yes, you could argue I'm a Disney adult. I do enjoy Disney. It was food and wine, so there was partaking of things. So you could argue those things. But how much do we think the work has the impact? I wasn't in the classroom. I wasn't dealing with the next crisis in the clinic. I wasn't at a faculty meeting. All those things. So I'm going to give you guys a second. I left some note cards out. There are pens available on the tables as well. Feel free to do this if you would like. Folks online, you are also welcome to do this. This is just a quick self-report inventory on how you're feeling. If you are feeling burnt out, I got you, Morgan. Okay. But quick little thing. This is the Maslow Burnout Inventory. It is just a self-assessment on how you might be feeling and if you are at potential risk of feeling burnt out. So it is a scale of 0 to 6, 0 being never, 6 being every day, on how you feel about each of these items. So the first one being, I feel emotionally drained at my work. Working with people all day long requires a great deal of effort. I feel like my work is breaking me down. I feel frustrated at my work. I feel I work too hard at my job. It stresses me too much to work in direct contact with people. And I feel like I'm at the end of my rope. So the general burnout scale, once you get your numbers, you can add up your total. If you are less than 17, you are a low level of burnout, a low risk. If you are between 18 and 29, you are moderate. And if you are over 30, it's high burnout. How are we feeling, friends? Some interesting faces. 36. That's valid. It's maybe a little higher than you expected. Or maybe not.
it's weird just to see a number put to something that you already knew, but to have the number to go along with it.
That's my field in a nutshell, friend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't think about that way. Yeah.
I mean, that was a joke.
Yeah, I know, but
Promise.
yeah.
Clinical psychologist. This is what we do to you guys, unfortunately. We give you a screener that puts a quantifiable number to the thing you feel. Makes it a little harder to avoid. But I also hear you, in all seriousness, saying the number piece kind of hit a little bit for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that's kind of what you were also saying, Morgan. Any other thoughts and feels with this?
I mean, I am not currently there, but I have been going through this. I'm like, oh yeah, there have been times that was me at UA 4 years ago or whatever.
100%. And I can remember you and I talked a little bit, if you don't mind me saying that.
Yeah.
Before I was planning this, I know Emma told me, I will happily come. I want to be there. I think it'll be fun. I'm not feeling burnout right this moment.
Yeah.
But if you'd asked me 4 or 5 years ago, we would be here.
Yeah.
we would be in this range.
Yes.
Which is valid. It ebbs and flows, which I appreciate and I think is an also important thing to state. I'm also doing this in, April, the last month-ish of the semester.
The most wonderful time of the year.
It is. It's the best. Everybody I know is like stressed to the max right now. That's the bad part about being friends with and sort of dating a human who's also in academia. Not the best of choices, but here we are. It's the idea of burnout. We get stuck into this. And at the end of the day, it's not always our fault by any means. It's not like this is a personal failure per se. And I really want to highlight that and hit on that because I think it is easy to feel like we have done this to ourselves or we're adding this extra pressure, but it's a combination of things. And we know it is super common in helping professions. And we are a helping profession. Higher ed and education in general is a higher risk. So as I'm talking today, my goal here isn't to say we have to solve this. It's not necessarily a problem for us to solve, but maybe find ways to deal with it. Burnout is a systemic issue. Like it comes from all of the issues and all of the systems that we have in place. In particular, I'm going to pick on Morgan for 2 seconds because you were talking about programs you were trying to develop before others came in and some amazing things you were trying to do. The piece that you said that was the time crunch. I'm trying to do this before people are off contract. But people are not having to do things while they're not being paid. That's a system pressure, and you're trying to work within the system. So the goal is to more bring about awareness to it, to look at the language, and to find ways to leverage against it. So we can't fix the fact that there's going to be a million students all wanting their grades or wanting new points, but maybe we can find ways to respond and manage it. So why it hits? We have a lot of emotional labor. We have student crises, we get trauma incidents, we have all of these competing needs. Bless you. In particular, my language or English folks, I know you guys have talked about when you do writing assignments, they write the things. Whether you tell them to or not, they share the things with us.
Yeah.
Or we get the crises, regardless of what field we're in. I was sitting in my office at 5:30 last night. Yes, you could argue I should not have been there at 5:30. We are playing catch up post Disney though. But I got an email from one of my first years saying, I think I have OCD and or anxiety. My dad's health insurance is shit, pardon my language. That was their language. I don't know what to do. What are the campus resources? So I responded back and I stayed in my office until they responded back. Student crisis. You could argue I didn't need to do that, shouldn't have done that, whatever. But in that moment, that's what I felt like I needed to do. It's also role overload. So we are teachers, we're advisors. In that moment, I was case manager. And we are tech support. More often than not, both for our students and sometimes our colleagues. I have a lovely human in my department. I adore him. He's had strokes more recently than not and did not remember how to use Teams. We did a crash course in my office one day, at which point I just set up the Teams meetings for his classes for him. Tech support. We're also often under-resourced with increased expectations, even at the best of universities, even at bigger universities. I was talking to an IT person a couple weeks ago. I walked into my office every Monday to a blue screen of death on my computer for no reason that I could fathom. So I finally gave up, put in the IT ticket, to which the lovely IT person came over to my office, and I explained, I am pretty sure the cord that goes from my computer to the docking station doesn't work. I think it comes loose every weekend, which means the computer loses its power source every weekend, and it loses its mind every weekend. He looked at me and said, yeah, probably. Let's do some updates. I don't know how an update is going to fix a cord. He's like, well, it makes it more, I don't care. Just do what you want. Do what you want, Kevin. So Kevin sat in my office for half an hour updating my computer. And then I was like, so if this still happens, is it the cord? He's like, probably. What do we do about that, friend? Well, it's a $20 cord and we don't have any right now, and I can't buy any right now. I walked in the next week to a blue screen of death and I bought a cord on Amazon. Under-resourced though. It's a $20 cord, not a big deal. But maybe for somebody else it would have been. We also often get wrapped up into this idea of an identity-driven work environment. Our work becomes who we are, and especially in education or helping fields. We feel like it matters. Be that focusing on what the students need, making sure we are responding to them, navigating faculty development. It feels like it matters, and it's harder to take that step back as a result. And this is different than stress and fatigue. They all kind of lend to each other, but there is some slight differences with all of these. So stress it feels like too much too fast. It's often like, again, not in all cases, and chronic stress is definitely a thing, but it's a blip. It's that quick thing, and we can often recover from it. So it is, yesterday I had multiple meetings back to back to back, which is stressful, but then I sat in my office for 2 hours alone. I was able to recover and do some other things and offload. Fatigue, I just need to rest. And again, some fatigue is different than others. Sometimes it is heavier than others. But it is the idea, hello, friend. It is the idea that fatigue, if we take the time, we take care of ourselves, you rest. Burnout's a little different. It's this chronic mismatch between the demands that we have and the resources available to us. And the weekend doesn't fix it. Thank you for that. I like that. So it's not just, I need the weekend to rest and recover, or I need to step away from the stress. So we know those things lend into and feed into burnout. So stress and fatigue do feed into it, but they're different in their own way. So some of the core dimensions of this, it's that idea of just feeling emotionally exhausted, so feeling depleted. It is feeling depersonalized or cynical, so feeling numb or irritated with people. Irritation is real this time of year. Or feeling a reduced sense of efficacy. Nothing I do feels like it's mattering. So I got big nods on that one. So nothing I do feels like it matters. And I think that is an important one. Though I will own, when I was making this PowerPoint, I do not understand Microsoft. It made this picture for me. But no. This was the better alternative, friends. It put a turkey there. I don't know why. I have physical proof of it on my phone because I took a picture of it because I was amused. But it thought turkey represented nothing I do matters. Whatever, Microsoft, you do you.
It's Thanksgiving. The turkey is going to die.
Apparently, That is all Microsoft can focus on, Emma. I agree. Apparently. But this is a big one. It feels like nothing I do matters. So I chose to change it from a turkey because I felt like this is a serious-ish one, at least. Turkey amused me. It was tempting to leave it. Why does this one in particular hit for folks? The nothing I do matters. Because I saw faces when I said that one in particular, even over some of the others.
Systemic issues.
Yeah, systemic issues.
Students who don't care. And we want to try to help them and want them to learn. We want them to be excited about our field, but they stop coming or they don't care.
Yeah.
So we put together these great presentations and activities, and they're not there for them. Or,
Yeah.
There's that for me as well, Mary. And I'll only speak for myself
Oh, please.
in this case. The school cannot function without me, and I know my peers, you know, as instructors and staff as well. And yet, as an important stakeholder, can I use a mild swear word?
Oh, I don't care. I've already cussed today.
Okay. The people upstairs do not give a shit about me personally or professionally.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to remain invested in something that I've dedicated my adult life to when I'm treated like a non-person.
I agree with that. I appreciate those points. I have a friend on campus who, I'm not going to name names or departments, but in their department, somebody higher up than them has the idea that this human is lazy. But I know for a fact that this human had worked on campus yesterday from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. yesterday because they were writing grants. They taught, I'm almost positive, 4 or 5 classes because they are overloaded this semester, both in terms of course load and students in those courses, and then attended a 7 o'clock event on campus. Don't think this human is lazy.
No.
But again, it's that perception piece, and they don't really see it, and they don't know. And you do deal with that. It is the systemic piece to it, which is really where burnout's functioning most. Which also makes it then harder to notice. As you said, you kind of knew it, but then you saw the number. So for my friend who just walked in, if you want to do this for yourself, but towards the end, I'll pull it back up. There's a self-assessment of burnout, which puts it to a number. And for some, that number hit a little bit more.
Yeah, sure did.
I appreciate you sharing that. It's high functioning burnout. We don't necessarily have that physical collapse. Not quite the same. We also normalize the things. We normalize being overextended. Yes, that too. It is. More work, less pay. You do the things. We also, for some cases, the passion for it, we wouldn't do this job. We don't do it for the money, as we said. There's other reasons we do it. There is a passion there. We like teaching. We like working with the students. Whatever it is, the passion sometimes, at times, can mask the depletion. Or at least make it not feel as heavy at first. Or we tell ourselves this is just how the job is. It's just part of the job. I've said at the beginning, it's finals. It's the final month of the semester. We tell ourselves these things and it masks it. We avoid the impact. So what are our personal signs? I got some options up here of just common signs: poor performance, lack of interest, isolation, lack of concentration, increased accidents or mistakes. I'm going to hit on this one in particular. One of my best friends, Dr. Fugit, I will name her name in this case. She's amazing. She's the executive director of our Center for Teaching and Learning. She has been dealing with an eye injury randomly. She has celiacs and a couple other autoimmune issues, and somehow her eye just decided to develop a cut on the inside of it one day. She doesn't know how it happened. It's just been there for a month. So she can't see very well out of one eye. Sunlight makes it worse. It was real fun at Disney for her. We bought hats. We bought a hat. It helped. Her husband had to guide her around when it was super sunny. He joked he was a seeing eye dog. He enjoyed it quite a bit. Yesterday, she texted me that she had multiple errors in emails, and she made it a quick be like, well, I just can't see, so I'm sure that affected it, but it made me upset. And I was like, April, we got a message from the Institutional Review Board, our IRB board on campus yesterday, that telling us to make corrections that didn't exist in the email. Like, Lindsay emailed me and was like, hey, make these corrections. Packet looks great. I had to respond back, what corrections am I making? To which she responded, I need more caffeine. I will send it to you. Another human on campus emailed out the TA assignments for the fall semester and had them labeled as spring 2026 TA assignments and had to issue a retraction. Told April those things and she's like, okay, maybe it's this. We feel more cynical, we feel more irritable, we feel stressed, anxious, maybe even depressed. We are forgetful. We might experience headaches or illness, chronic fatigue, sleeping difficulty. We may not feel like eating, or as we already noted, my blood pressure decreased by 10 points at Disney. We might feel high blood pressure at work. So what are your personal warning signs? What things do you notice for you? If you feel comfortable sharing, please share. If you don't, we just want to think about them, that's also valid.
100% cynicism, irritability, and chronic fatigue.
Valid. That's very valid.
I think
please.
I think lack of engagement, maybe, where you're just going through the motions. Like, I just got to get through this. I can't give much more. I'll just go through the motions and finish.
I would agree with that. We feel lack of empathy. It feeds into that cynicism. And I don't often feel cynical with students per se, but maybe upper administration, socio-political things, all of those things factor in it. Though I will own, I got very, very irritable yesterday with one of my freshmen. Tried to rein it in and not impact him. But I log on to my 11 o'clock class at 11, and he has already raised his hand. It's a virtual course. I'm like, what do we want, friend? He types his little comment. What are we doing today? Okay, friend. I screenshot that and sent it to my partner. He's also a professor. He replied back with a meme of it's on the syllabus. I was like, oh, it took everything in me not to send that to him. Irritability, though, it's a thing.
Walk away from it a little bit because my first reaction is I want to respond is not work is not work.
100%. 100%. I know some faculty, I can't remember where I heard this from, but a colleague of mine at some point in my careers made the comment that they would just send an email back that says, please reread that and please read it out loud to yourself, and then I will respond.
Yeah.
All of these things. And I really do think the irritability piece is a high point. And then sometimes that can make us feel bad because we don't want to be mad at our students. But it happens. These warning signs can come in lots of ways. It is cognitive based. It is feeling in a fog, feeling irritable, feeling forgetful. It is emotional. It's feeling numb, feeling resentment, or maybe even feeling guilt for needing to take the time. It's behavioral. It's withdrawing. It's procrastinating or spending a ton of time overworking. Compensate. It's somatic. It's headaches, sleep disruption, or frequent illnesses. I'm going to talk about this in my personality class here very soon. There's a reason that students get sick at the end of the semester. We get sick when we get stressed. It's a part of it. The immune system tanks. All these things. These are the signs of burnout. And it's often we fall in these common traps because, again, the system breeds it in a lot of ways. Just one more email. For me last night, it was just one more paper. If I just graded one more paper, I could go home. The crises become the norm. That is this week in a nutshell with our doc kids. I think I know for a fact I had 2 cry on me within 2 hours of each other. Crises become the norm. or we feel like we are responsible for the things we can't control, for the outcomes we can't control. And we feel guilted into being more available. I had a colleague who had had a conversation with one of our doc cohorts. Again, for folks who don't know, we have a doctoral psychology program at Marshall in our department. They are a cohort-based system. The cohorts are about 12 to 15 each, so very small. He had asked them to reflect on their experience thus far in one of the classes, in which some of them had big feels and felt like they weren't getting faculty support and felt like they've been told by other students coming in, it's very family-like, you feel like you're part of a family in this department, and they're like, we don't have that. So he came to me and we were talking about it last week after he had reactions to it and he had processed it a little bit. And he was like, I feel like I need to just be on campus more for them. And I was like, well, yes, you haven't been on campus much, valid. But it's grad school, it's not a family.
Mm.
Like that distinction also has to be owned. That distinction has to be taught.
Mm.
Yes, could we support them more? I do think that's a piece to it. I do think, and again, not to be mean to my colleagues for various reasons, there's not many of us in the office every day. However, he was dealing with this. So what contributes to our burnout? It is the upper administration. It's the time constraints of people will not be on contract soon. It is, part of my language, the shitty student emails. It's all the things, right, friends? So I don't want to make light of all of those things, but I also want to talk about them in a different way. So you will notice on your front of you, there is bingo sheets. If there's not enough at any table, please let me know. I'll happily grab from another table.
See if I can drop the document in the chat.
That way folks who are online can also do it. Anybody online who does use it, ignore the first page and just pick one of the others at random. The first is just a call sheet. Beautiful. So feel free to pick a random one. There is a prize at stake, friends.
Ooh.
I know.
For the most burned out person.
No.
But it
Fair.
eases the burnout.
But it does actually ease burnout. It's a wellness journal.
Oh, I like that.
And so this is a Happy Planner wellness journal. We have procured these at CTL at Marshall for our wellness sessions and had some left over. So April donated this one kindly for you guys. So whoever hits bingo first will win this. If somebody online hits bingo first, it will be available to you whenever you come. I will leave it with Morgan for you. I apologize, friends. It is a Disney themed one. I warned you, I'm a Disney adult, as is April, despite what she will tell you. So this is a wellness journal, is a fantastic resource. So yes, it could help with your burnout. However, is not however many you personally feel on this card, though I do want to hear that from you and also why. But because they are randomized, I know some of these might hit for some folks and not for others. So I do have the call out list and I'm just going to pick some at random and whoever gets the bingo first will win. And then we're going to talk more about how this actually looks and what it really means. So feel free to play if you would like. Whoever gets bingo, please yell out bingo or just say, hey, I won. Whatever you personally feel more comfortable with.
Yeah.
Thank you for the backup there.
I mean, that's how bingo works.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with this one because it was my personal one this week. Campus Wi-Fi meltdowns. I have one more freshman who lives in the dorm tell me that they can't log on to Teams because the Wi-Fi dropped. I might lose my mind. Forgot to eat lunch. Forgot what day it is. Your password has expired. I stayed late. We're short-staffed. That was good sound. We shall talk soon, friend, I promise. Brain too tired. Hop on a quick call.
Bingo.
I love that. I love that this is now yours. Okay, welcome.
One way. Just one LMS crash.
I'm going to quickly go through all of them just so people can hear the things in case we want to talk about it. The ones I did not say was back-to-back Zooms or Teams calls, budget cuts. Can we push the deadline? Committee meetings. Yep. Construction/cleaning noises. It's a big one on campus, depending on what side of campus you're on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Building the retaining wall.
Oh,
I loved waking up that morning. Hannah photoshopped the Target logo on the Mount West building, and that's how Zach and I found out we're stepping off the hill.
I love that. That was me when I was at UK for internship, where I had to write in literally every assessment report, construction noise could have impacted testing results because they were building the new student center outside the counseling center.
Oh.
It's fun times. Inbox 100 plus. Let's circle back. The LMS crashing, printer jams. Quick question. Spreadsheet breaks. Student email at 11:59 p.m. Surprise meeting. We need this by end of day. We've always done it this way. Working on the weekend. I mean, I'm going to be doing it this weekend. So how do we feel about these?
Yucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love you, friend.
Email at 11:59 p.m. wouldn't bother me except for a repeat email shortly after, like the next morning, like, why didn't you respond to me? Or
It's like, brother, I was asleep.
Yep.
I'm old and I need sleep.
I told myself, I'm like, you can email me whenever, but like, no,
Ah.
I'm not responding until like the next morning. Or
100%.
multiple times.
I am already setting this up. My common exam in FYS, which is a mandatory exam per university policy, not me. If they don't take this exam, I don't care how well they do on it even. They fail the whole course outright because it's a university benchmark. They literally just have to turn something in. I don't care if they Christmas tree it. They just have to turn it in. But they inevitably wait till 11:50 when it is due at 11:59. So I'm already laying the groundwork of friends. I can't guarantee emails after 5 p.m. will be answered.
Yep.
You have the 11 o'clock hour when we would normally meet for class to do it. Do it then. If you choose to wait, I can't guarantee I can help you if there's a tech issue. It's agreed. Those emails are hard when they then are like, well, why didn't you respond? You, my friend, had some big reactions to some of them as well. How are you feeling?
Scene.
I'm very happy to hear that, but I hate that you're maybe feeling some of these. You're welcome.
We've always done it this way is a hard one.
Yeah.
Especially if
You're good. You guys are good.
you're too late hearing. Especially if you're newer and
Mhm.
don't know the history of
Agreed.
what's been done or who's been doing it.
Mhm.
Me. And you get these exciting ideas and you're, you want to make a difference and then you're just either told no
Yeah.
or, well, maybe we'll talk about it later and then
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's pushed off and ignored.
I agree with that. I had a comment or thing similar to that. I'm not that new to Marshall, but I'm also not that old to Marshall because I worked med school and then made the transition over to main campus. So I know the systems, but I've only been in my department for 2 years now. But we have some new faculty who have only been there since August. This new faculty, this bright, shiny, lovely human, asked in a faculty meeting if we could have a GA to just make copies of the intro exams for all the intro sections. And my brain went, oh, honey, we don't have the budget for that. You're going to be lucky if we have the budget to fix the copier that's been there since I was a grad student for paper tests that you believe we should do. I didn't say any of that out loud. I let the chair just be like, well, probably not, but no explanation of the system. No explanation of here's what's really going on with the budget in COLA. Here's the things that we're already having to cut. We can't allocate for that. We'll be lucky if we allocate for the TAs that we already need.
I would add lack of communication.
Yeah.
Is another one. You know, if there's things that are going on, I mean, and sort of what blows my mind about it is that's literally what we do at a college is communicate information and try to share that and have a dialogue about it and critically think about it. And then when some information is withheld for some reason, or there's like segregation between parties that should be working together, that's really difficult. And I think that definitely contributes a lot to
I would agree. Lack of communication, lack of transparency. It's just being told, well, this is just how we're doing it. We've always done it this way. It's all these pieces. So what can we do? We can't always fix the system, but we can set some boundaries. And some of you I know are already doing some of these things. So I'm not going to respond to the 11:59 email. I'm going to put it in my syllabus maybe that this is my window that I can guarantee attempted responses. Or I know I have a colleague who will say, you're not supposed to email me back to back unless I've not responded to you in 48 hours or 72 hours. Again, students don't listen, but it's policy at least. You try to set that boundary of I'm not instantly available. Use decision off ramps. Don't make the immediate quick decision. If you're being asked to do something or you're feeling overtaxed, tell them, let me get back to you on that. I have learned that with my clinic GA, who is a lovely human, I adore her. She has ADHD and feels like she has to tell you the thing immediately, whether it's actually immediate or not. We've learned over the last few months that that does not jive well with the two of us. And we've had to come up with a solution. Her new solution is she will tell me that it's just, hey, I'm doing this before I forget. You don't need to look at this for another month. Great. We had a moment the other day, she texted me something and she was like, hey, have you thought about doing this? I was like, Bree, that's not even on my radar. I didn't even know that existed. And she was like, okay, I'll put that back on your radar next week. I was like, thank you. Appreciate that. We've had to work on that boundary and that communication style. Again, not her fault. It's her way of processing information. Not my fault, my way of processing information. We also have to set emotional boundaries. We can't fix everything. We can't fix the system. We can't fix everything for our students. But I can still care. It is hard. We want to fix the things. Set up time containments using start and stop rituals. I'm only going to work for this hour and then I'm going to take a break. Or I'm going to schedule in something that I want to do after I finish grading this.
You guys seen this video? Somebody that said, I'll finish grading until the candle blows out and they go.
I love those. 100%. Setting up those things.
I love it.
Ditto. It's the reason I've switched to Scentsies over candles in my house. Don't trust myself. So I want you guys to think about one thing you can do, even if it's small, that could just reduce a little tiny bit of the stress. Feel free to write it on your bingo card if you need for reminders. But what's one thing you can do?
I mean, I will say, having gone through some burnout / just really difficult times in grad school, of just being like, no, weekends are for me. Like that became a hard boundary of like, no, like Sunday night, maybe some emails, particularly with due dates and like, but just not doing any work unless, again, something piles up occasionally. But like creating that hard boundary was really helpful for me of just being like, this is my time to recharge and like helped to make sure I wasn't going crazy.
Great. It's a fantastic one.
I second that. I was at a conference recently and I was out to dinner with some folks. And one of the people asked me about a friend of mine who's transitioned to a different position. And she was asked me, how does she like it? And I said, yeah, she really likes it. She doesn't have to take her work home with her as often. And this person looked at me and was like, yeah, that must be nice. People in our positions, we just don't get to do that. And I was like, whoa, who's we? I'm trying not to do that. The expectation that I will is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've often thought that it'd be really nice to have a 9 to 5, just you do work while you're there and then you're done, walk away. Because I don't know what that is. I've never been in it. Never felt that way. One of the things that, two things actually, two thoughts I had. I've discovered that in Teams, and that app on my phone at least, there's a way to mute notifications during a certain time period. So I gave my students a link to message me in Teams. So it's maybe more interactive than email. Most of them don't actually use it, but I do say I'm not going to see the notifications from this time to this time because I don't want my phone dinging at 2 a.m. Because a student has a question. And so, that's one thing that I've tried. Again, it hasn't been an issue so far, but I've done that for myself. And then I've also realized that there are crafts and things that I like to do, hobbies. And
Carving out time.
there's always a literal mountain of laundry and dishes in my house. I have 5 children, and there's always something to do. There's always trash on the floor. There's always somebody that needs something. And then there are times where I'm like, I'm going to go hide in my craft room. And if my kids find me, that's fine. But I need a few minutes to do something for myself. And I'm not going to let myself feel guilty for having maybe not like hours necessarily, but even just a short period to think about.
No, I think that's important. And I would also encourage finding ways to do that at home and campus too. So for example, I had 2 for me that came up this week in particular, and please others are still welcome to share, of course. So my 2 that I did this week, my GA wanted to have a meeting with me about the clinic because we need to unfortunately the previous clinic director was not so great about training me about anything I was supposed to do. And unfortunately, some of the things we have to order, WAISs, WIS, which are IQ measures that are kind of important to our job some days, are still attached to the former director's email, who is retiring in August. So my GA is a little concerned about that because she worked for this human and knows how she was as a clinic director too. Not the best, no offense. She was very burnt out in her defense. So she messaged me. She asked if we could have a meeting at some point to go over the things we need to remember to get off of the former director's email prior to the end of summer. And she asked me when I could meet. And I was like, well, what days are you on campus? Because she also is an off-site practicum site, has classes, plus the clinic GA. So I was like, when are you available? And she's like, well, I can do tomorrow at 1, or I can do sometime next week. And I was like, I technically didn't have anything on my calendar on Wednesday at 1:00, but unfortunately that was the only time I could have walked to Starbucks in the entire day because I knew I had class and I had meetings. So I looked at Bree and I was like, I want lunch tomorrow. And she was like, Tuesday after class works. I also made the decision, a video game that I'd been half looking at for a while, decided to drop this week on PlayStation. I chose to splurge and buy the $40 game.
There you go.
Finding the things that are small that can help.
I've got 2 positive things I'll contribute. I've noticed the college is better at paying us for extra work now. Like if they ask you to be on a committee over the summer or to do some extra work, maybe it's the recent grants or whatever, but it's nice that they actually talk about giving you a stipend or paying you for your time and effort, and that's positive.
It's rare, but positive.
Yes. And then another thing is I'm really liking the AI. It's helping me with rubrics. It's helping me streamline, and it's helping me to do things faster. And that gives me more personal time if I can finish these other tasks faster.
I agree. At the end of the day, regardless of feels about AI, I know some folks have big feels and don't love using it. Some love using it. I will own personally, I'm in the middle. I use it for some things, but not all the things. As I said at the beginning, AI created these bingo cards. I will own, I offloaded that task. Well, I didn't. Dr. Fugate offloaded that task because she made these. But it's finding whatever it is, be that AI or otherwise, that can help offload certain things or streamline certain things. Those things can be helpful. Whether that is saying I don't need to do something right this minute, handing it off to another person, setting those email boundaries, whatever it is for you personally. So some things to think about and consider. Consider what is actually required right now. Because more often than not, especially with students and upper administration even, they tell you the thing and it feels like, oh my God, I got to do it right now. Do you though? Do we really? What am I doing that really isn't required? What extra things am I doing that really isn't that important right now? What can wait without actually causing harm?
Can I make another comment?
Yeah.
It's related to our professional portfolio of achievement. And one year it really hit me that I was doing so many extra things that didn't matter, because when you look at your PPA, you don't get any points for it. It doesn't help you with your promotion status, nothing. It's just extra stuff that's stressing you out that you think you should do. But in the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
I would agree with
count.
that. That's very true. And I've been grappling with that personally too. So I go up for tenure at Marshall next year. So I've been agreeing to do things that I really don't want to do because I want tenure real bad. Don't really want to go back to being a practicing psychologist. I can. I like doing therapy. I don't like working in healthcare. Did that. Don't want to. So I agreed to moderate it was a student research symposium that was put on at Marshall last week. I agreed to be one of the moderators. Got no info on what I was doing, so I just showed up. Thank God there was only one student who showed up to a 2-student session, so I wasn't really judging anything. But her faculty advisor, I made the comment that I didn't really know what I was doing. I've known Dale Kroll for a while. He just looked at me and he was like, well, you're a better person than me. I wouldn't have volunteered. I was like, tenure, Dale. You would have tenure.
That's so cool.
It is Dale Kroll. I knew some of you would know Dale Kroll, so I said it. He's like, well, you're a better human than me. And I was like, I go up for tenure next year, Dale. He's like, there we are. I'm also doing the COLA conference in 2 weeks for similar reasons.
Oh.
At least I sort of know what I'm doing there. But consider the things you don't really need to do. What actually has merit? What is actually like feeding your soul when it can? What can you offload? So come up with a plan. So consider these things. I know we're almost at time, so please just consider for yourself. When I'm exhausted, what can you do? I will do this. Yeah, well, yes. That is my game plan too, but maybe go to the craft room. Take the caffeine to the craft room. When I feel cynical.
The complaining and fueling the fire of other faculty's.
It's processing, so I'll take it. It's processing.
I'm trying to like lift more people up around me because
You're very good.
You are.
because I love these people. I want them to know that they are on.
I think it's both. And I think I appreciate that comment. That's very sweet. But I think it can be both, because in some ways it's processing the things. It's offloading some of that mental space that you have. And so it's not just festering and sitting in your head.
Yeah, but then they give me their things that they're cynical about, and I get me more fired up.
That's unfortunately the trade-off. It is a double-edged sword. I would agree with that.
Motivating.
Positive association. I don't know what you're talking about.
Also consider when you feel ineffective, what you can do. So at the end of the
things
day,
you're good at to feel better about it all.
Read positive student comments.
agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Those are rare, but very, very.
I highly agree with that. And I think it's trying to remember those things when they do happen. So for example, I made a comment earlier, I had 2 students crying in my office. One, I think, was genuinely mad at me because I wouldn't agree to a grade change. I know. I know. A doc student didn't turn in the big assignments, so she has a C, and she can't get another C in the program, or she's out.
College students in that program, they're just not ready yet.
I know. I'm aware. I know. I had another student in my office who did genuinely break my heart. She's my GA in a different position. She's going to be one of my clinical supervisees next year. She's the first year in our doc program. She sat down and immediately started crying, which is never something I've seen from her. And she was like, I just feel overwhelmed. She's like, I just feel like everything is too much right now. Then she started talking about how her cohort doesn't feel supported, and she doesn't feel that way. And she's like, but I made the connections. I went out of my way to agree to do this GA position with you or to talk to this person. She's like, so I knew I could come here today. I knew you would listen. It's a reminder that I am maybe effective in some ways. Not for the student who was mad at me, but that's okay. I'd rather her be mad at me now than lose a job 10 years down the line because she can't get her notes done. I also want to do a quick plug of resources since this is our last session, though I'm always happy to come back if folks want me to. My contact information is there. My email address is there. I am doing a quick plug for various resources also available at Marshall that are happy to help when we can. As I said, I am a licensed clinical psychologist, but I'm not saying I'm providing any services through any of this. As I've said multiple times, I'm not doing therapy on you guys, I promise. But I do have an amazing group of students who do therapy on campus at reduced rates because they are in training. If folks ever want any of that information, we are the Marshall Psychology Clinic. Our contact information is there. Our QR code is there. It is available to community members, including, of course, you guys. I also am part of the Marshall Center for Teaching and Learning, which is largely why I'm here, because Morgan reached out to my executive director there, and I am now here for you with this. So we are always available for resources as well. We love working with you guys. So again, if you ever need anything, all great resources and contact information for you guys. So I appreciate you all. I know a lot of you guys have been here from the very beginning, especially I know you guys have been here from the very beginning, as well as some of the folks online. So appreciate you guys. And if I can ever do anything else, feel free to yell at me.
Thank you.
Could you share that psychology putting information with our students?
Yes.
Mental health and support for that is a big topic on our campus right now.
100%. Yes, please share.
Might be something.
Just feel free to share. I have this as a PDF as well that I can email out to Morgan, and she can send it out to whoever wants it.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we are reduced rate for community members. I would also be willing to have a conversation of, are these students, like our Marshall students, or not to help with services? Our lowest rate, it's $20 a session. I think only like a handful of folks pay that, as we will do sliding scale. So if somebody comes and says, I can't afford $20, I think we have folks who pay $1 for their sessions. Because at the end of the day, we care about them getting in and our students getting the hours for their own stuff. So yes, 100% for sure. I will also add, we also do psych testing. So LD or learning disorder, ADHD testing, personality testing, different things like that too, for reduced rates if they don't have insurance and things. That's awesome. Very well.